Joining us now on the Buyers Barricade guest line is Mike McCarthy, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Coach McCarthy, how are you, sir? Coming off a big win.
Doing well. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I got to ask you. You go home last weekend. We see all the pictures. You know, you invited Dak and Coop over to the house. What Mama cook? Did you get Did you get to choose the meal, or did they just Mom say, "I'm making what I'm making. Your friends, you'll have to eat what we serve."
Absolutely, old school. She doesn't run a restaurant, that's for sure. But it's she never disappoints. But yeah, she had plenty of food. We had a lot of people there.
Well, what was the meal? We're really curious. What did Mom make?
Well, she had the local pizza.
There we go.
Ayala's pizza. But then, yeah, she had, salads, a pasta dish, chicken. There's plenty of food.
Now, when you walk away from that game, you win a game road games are always fun to win. When you win in your hometown, does it give you a different feeling? There's people who you knew maybe don't even talk to anymore, but who are Steelers fans, and you get to go in and get that win. Does it give you kind of a different feeling than winning at Seattle or at Arizona? Is it a different feeling to win in Pittsburgh?
Oh, definitely, I would say so. I think it's very natural to, for all of us. I mean, we're all proud of where we come from, and it was nice to have 2 hours because of it being a Sunday night game to see family. So, but yeah, definitely, every one of these men that I've worked with throughout my time in the NFL, that they're all proud of where they came from, and they're proud of their families and so forth. So the opportunity to go back and play in front of your, the people that help raise you is it's definitely it brings a little extra to it, but it also just counts as one win. But it was definitely a nice moment.
And to win the way that you did, the grinded out kind of style certainly looked good too. The run game picked up, Coach. It was really impressive. Second half was really remarkable. Tell us about how this has come to be. I mean, the line looked good despite all the injuries. It looks like you rounded into a preferred back, at least down and distance kind of thing, and the run game respected. What happened? What'd y'all do?
I think the biggest thing is it really starts with attempts, and able to stay with it. It was a balanced football game. We've played five. We've had 5 games. Week 2 and 3 were out of balance games. So just able to stay in the flow with it. I thought the adjustments that were made during the game were excellent. But it starts up front. I think our run blocking unit was given our backs, and then Enrico, was able to be productive, and was the hot hand. So I thought they were given clean looks, and most importantly, it's a responsibility of that run blocking unit to get that back to the second level. Then when it gets to the second level, the back has to create for the bigger yardage. So I thought we had a good day, good solid night.
It was. As far as the second level and running that first level, what's the decision process on who gets the ball in the red zone?
Well, everything that we do is personnel based, and it's it kind of varies each week. How many personnel groupings that we carry into a game. So they're all tagged, but just like anything, some of those personnel groups are a moving target. There's a preferred, and then it's if you're also go to a hurry up play, because you know how much you watch it, but sometimes we just line right up on the ball, right. So you're not able to make the substitution to the preferred personnel. So we have plays that can be ran out of any personnel. So I mean, it's, like I said, it's not an exact science where you sit there and I think like anything, you have to determine how you want to play offensively. We're not a sit around, take the ball, or take the clock all the way down to 1 second offense. We want to get up and get after the defenses as fast as we can, because we want as many trips to the plate in a 60-minute game. So I mean, all those things factor in how your personnel is distributed throughout the game. So you have multiple personnel groups, but in the position, particularly, I guess what you're referring to is the running backs. Sometimes your running backs are on a little bit of a serious pitch count. Some guys can go 4 or 5 plays in a row. Some guys can go 6. Some guy breaks a long run. I mean, it's not uncommon to you're calling a play quickly for a certain guy, but he's coming off the field because he just ran a 60-yard go, or or he broke a back, or it's his fifth play. So there's moving parts to your substitution plan, and so it's not as distinct as maybe hockey is.
Head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy, joins us here. Brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds. Coach, last one on the Steelers game before we move on to this week's matchup. You guys dealt with a pretty lengthy weather delay. I like to imagine you guys weren't in the locker room like playing Candy Crush and dominoes and stuff like that. What do you do to pass that time, keep your guys locked in, and how difficult of a hurdle is that to get by, or was it just was it no big deal? It gives you some extra time to work. How do you keep your guys focused?
I think the biggest thing for first is what people just want to know what's going on. They want to know we all live on a schedule. I mean, we're all creatures of habit. We're institutionalized on how we operate. So, everything we do in pregame is down to the minute. So I think the biggest thing is, as a group, was just keeping them posted. First it was 30 minutes, and then it was another 30 minutes, and then it was 15 more. So just trying to make sure that they can clearly see where the next line was to, what they needed to do next. And then from that, it was most of it was just more individual. Some guys were sitting together, some guys were, getting their feet up, and a lot of guys were on their headphones. And so, that part of it was all more individualized and so forth. But I thought we did a really good job of just keeping them abreast. And I thought New York was really on top of the weather. I don't think we could have came out any earlier than we did. So I thought that part of it, the organization of it, was as clean as it could possibly be in that situation. And I thought our players handled it very well. And I don't think it affected, the performance for either team.
Did the late night and obviously the early morning the next day, did it affect your schedule for the early part of this week, or was it, hey, we worked late, we got to work early? How did you guys handle that transition?
Oh, definitely. No, we definitely had adjusted. I mean, we didn't get home we didn't get to our own homes till 5 a.m. So definitely adjusted. Monday just really had the players get in and get their lift, and go through the medical process. And then coaches, we came in at 11, and just got right on the lines, because I wanted to make sure we had a normal week of preparation. But yes, definitely had to adjust Monday, and even adjusted Wednesday too. So, and yesterday's practice was a grind. I mean, you can see.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that they still had to push through. So I feel like we're over the hurdle. I think it's now past us. But yeah, when you have a late night like that, and frankly, we're used to it because we play so many national games, and particularly on the road too, it seems like. But so we're used to coming home with late nights and so forth. But it does take a couple of days to process it through the whole team.
You've got this kind of built-in kind of short week given that late night, and you're beating it coming against a team coming off a bye. When you see a team off a bye, you're pretty good against those teams. Why? You're 3-0 against teams that are coming off byes. Is it them, or is it you scouting better than most others?
I mean, there's so many variables involved in the success of that. I think the big thing too is is just recognizing with and anticipating what you think they're going to do. They'll definitely have some wrinkles. You always do when you come off a bye, because it gives you a chance to really get an extra day of practice with your players. So there's things that I've always held personally forever. I mean, I've done it as long as I've been a coordinator. There's concepts sitting on my desk right now I'm holding for after the bye. So I mean, I think all those things factor into coming into that game. So just being aware of that, being on this side of it, I think probably helps. But at the end of the day, you just got to get the 49 guys that are ready to play, and we got to go out and get this win. We need to win at home. I mean, we're 0-2 at home right now. So, 3-0 on the road, our home record has been really good here the last 2 years. So we need to get back on those winning ways at home.
Just like you were excited to go back home to Pittsburgh and play a road game there, Dan Campbell probably feeling the same way about this road trip for his Detroit Lions. What have you seen about the Lions that concerns you, and what are some things about them that you feel like you guys can maybe exploit or match up well against?
I always look at the team, as a whole. I think they're very, very balanced, and Dan deserves a tremendous amount of credit for that. I think they play to one another. I think it's consistent the way they play throughout that. I mean, I always talk about complementary football. I think he does a very good job of that. And I think their scheme and their attack reflects that too. So yeah, definitely. The thing I've been impressed with, and you always first thing on Monday you look at the stats and you look how things line up, but then once you get into the video, their efficiency statistically is really reflected while they're playing. They're playing fast. They're in sync. It's a group that's been together a while. Their O-line is probably one of the best ones in the league. They've been together a while, and they got the pieces on offense. I think Jared Goff's playing at a very high level, and and their defense has definitely improved from last year. So it's a team that's playing very well right now.
And Coach, I know it's just a little bit, and this might be anecdotal. Are you guys using a little bit more motion last week, or is that going to be carried forward?
Well, I think I think really last week was kind of going back to the
balance.
Balance, yeah. Weeks 1, 4, and 5. I mean, that's really what the offense is supposed to look like. So, 2 and 3 when we were in 2-minute offense, half the game. So I think when 2-minute offense, you're in more standard formations, you're playing fast and so forth. So I think statistically, I know statistically, because that's the way our analytics department breaks it out when you break out the situations, but I think clearly the way we played in the first half of Cleveland and weeks 4 and 5 is who we want to be on offense.
What do you make of Jared Goff? I know he's sort of a guy that people have people have very differing opinions on him. Some guys think he's near the top of the league. Some guys think maybe he's a little bit overrated, but he hadn't let a ball hit the ground since September 22nd now. Wow. No, he did have a bye week in there, but what are your thoughts on Jared Goff? What kind of a player do you think he is? And do you have to focus when Jared Goff's the quarterback, do you focus more on him or on the running game, the rest of the team around him, and think that he's more of a game managing type?
I mean, the first thing I always look at offensively is the quarterback. I think he's underappreciated, frankly. I thought he played well in LA. I'm gonna say this.
Went to a Super Bowl.
16. I'm trying to remember the year we played him out there. I think just like anything, you have a different level of appreciation when you see a player play live. That you only see playing on tape or on TV. So we played the Rams out there in LA, and I was very, very impressed with him that day. I think it was 16 or 15 when he played. So I think he's underappreciated. I think he's played at a top level, his whole time in Detroit. So I don't know who the hell, doesn't think he's got to be, top. He's definitely the top 10 quarterbacks in the league right now. I think he's playing at a really high level, and I think he's done a good job since he came in the league.
Your guys, Deron Bland back practicing. What's the expectations there?
Well, I mean, he had a full practice yesterday, so we pushed it. He pushed it a little bit. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm really curious to see how he comes in today. So today is more of a mock game, heavy situational day for us. So this will be the day that we'll see how he recovers, and then if he can go, full go Saturday, then he may have a chance to play. But I think it's the obvious. We got to take the full week here,
right,
and make sure he's ready to go.
It's almost wild that the Saints, or not the Saints, your left tackle has dealt with Myles Garrett, he's dealt with TJ Watt, Kayvon Thibodeau. This week he's got to deal with Aiden Hutchinson, who, despite having one less game played, he leads the league in sacks. I mean, do you have to tell Tyler Guyton, like, hey, it's not like this every week, but it kind of is. And after the bye, you're gonna introduce him to this Bosa fella. Like, this has really been a trial by fire for your rookie left tackle. How do you think he's responded so far?
Yeah, I think it is. I think you guys have already answered it. I mean, this is the NFL. I mean, if you don't have 4 number 1 picks on your D line, you're behind the times. So I think it's definitely a week in, week out, opportunity. And I think just, the players that he's had the chance to play against, it's only going to make them better. But I mean, this is the world that you live in out there on the edges, and everybody has to go through it. But definitely, I mean, it's going to be someone every week, as we know.
When you deal with a guy that's having just to go wave after wave with all pros, do you kind of take some time to, tell him it's all right, man? You're going against the very best. Sometimes you're just not going to match.
Well, absolutely. No, I think clearly it's reflected in the game plan too.
Yeah.
I mean, how much you're helping, where the help's coming from, why we're helping, how it fits into the passing game. So, all those things are, done in detail. And frankly, the process really starts back in the spring. So, yeah, I think it's, he clearly understands that at the end of it, he has to, there's times in the game he's just, he's going to have to block those guys one-on-one in the time clock that we're asking him to do it in.
That is head coach Mike McCarthy of the Dallas Cowboys. Coach, good luck this week against the Lions. We'll let you sleep in next Friday. You enjoy your week off after that, and then we'll talk to you before that 49ers game. But enjoy the home game this week, home cooking, and hopefully we'll talk to you again in a good mood before that 49ers game, Coach.
Excellent. Take care.